because of their job structure, the institution become vulnerable to high turnover and ethical lapses. For an audience dedicated to democratic and institutional strength, these findings have clear implications. To build resilient financial institutions, we must focus on job security and clear career paths to foster effective commitment. Banks must implement work-life balance and competitive benefits to prevent burnout and maintain a committed ethical leadership code. By understanding these predictors, we can better support the professionals who maintain the financial integrity of our nations. In conclusion, whether in a government or private bank, the manager's commitment is what protects the public's trust. By understanding the job type is the primary driver of this loyalty, we can better design the institutions that support our democracy. On the other hand, to strengthen the democratic fabric of a nation, we must strengthen its professionals. By optimizing job types, we can ensure a committed managerial class that leads with integrity. Thank you all for your time.
Okay, thank you very much for your very good presentation. Basically, there are very important topics which are nationally significant. So now we have time limitations, but I request Dr. Tarek Muhammad Tawfiq Rahman, he is a professor of political science at the University of Rajshahi, to have a short discussion. 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you, dear friend, Professor Farid Ahmed, chair of this session. This session was titled Poverty, Inequality, and Economic Governance, though we have listened at least one paper from another session presented by Sushanta Chandra Sarkar on the impact of political instability on graduates' migration from Bangladesh, and he was presenting the reality, a new reality. He was claiming that it is not money, it is politics for which, political instability for which our graduates are leaving their motherland to have a peaceful life in the future, and they don't plan to come back to their motherland because of this political instability. That is really a sad news, sad reality for this Bangladeshi nation. And then we have listened from a few other presenters. Our student Ali Ashraf has presented on behalf of Muhammad Bashirullah of Warendra University and Professor Mahmoud Rahman of Rajshahi University. Paper was on river gypsies. We know them as Bede. Yes, we can recall the famous film known as Beder Me Josna. And we know that though the people, the nomadic people of Bangladesh, they are not in the discussion, in the national discussion, but this is a paper presented on them, how to solve their problems. Okay, then we have got one paper from, okay, if I say on cereal, Sumaya Khanum presented one paper on water security challenges of the Tripura tribal people, and we have seen that, yes, they are in trouble, and as being the marginalized people, they are not on the scenario of national politics. Then we have listened one paper from Tanjina Akhtar, Assistant Director from Bangladesh Public Administration Training Center, PATC. Tanjina was talking on the technology, transparency, and trust, the role of online financial transactions in emerging democracies. From this title, I was expecting she will be comparing the emerging democracies, means the nations planning to have their democracy in their political life, but we didn't have that type of presentation. We have got a development presentation online of online transactions, what she has mentioned properly, that yes, from these online transactions in our financial sector, we are getting some type of transparency and a kind of trust upon the system. And perhaps she tried to make an argument that if our Bangladeshi political system can produce such an online or what is called internet-based political system that could make a better democracy in Bangladesh, but the title was not telling us that reality. It should have a different title. Okay. Then from Dr. Tanima Varda Andalib from Brack University, she was properly and fantastically presented a new idea, what is not really in our national debate. She was talking about our blue economy, to safeguard this blue economy of Bangladesh, to develop this dream of blue economy for this Bangladesh. She was talking about one new model, method. She was abbreviating INTEM, integrating normative and technology-based method. And she was talking for green HRM, human resource management. And yes, it should come up to our Bangladeshi national debate also for a better economic prosperity for this nation. We have listened one paper from Moshumi Mahbub, assistant professor of Begum Badrunnisa Government College, on corruption and governance crisis in Bangladesh, challenges to democracies from 2029 up to 2023. And she was presenting the realities of that time. Okay, now after this 2024, people are very much interested for the post-July 24, but she has presented a reality of that time, and it would be a document that how was that time, was that regime, that political situation, political scenario. So it will recall us, it will help to recall the reality of this thrown regime from Bangladesh, ousted regime from Bangladesh. We have got the last one, the last paper from a psychological perspective. Jannatun Noor Haider Chaudhuri presented job types and job experiences, predictors of organizational commitment among bank managers in Dhaka city, and she was presenting from her psychological perspective. We have got another psychological presentation from Tahia. Yes, here, Tahia is here. Okay, so what we have listened, we have experienced from these presenters, we have got some new ideas, new thoughts, and new dimensions also. And we hope these new ideas and thoughts will show us some new ways, new doors, new windows to develop our political and economic prosperity of Bangladesh. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I request Dr. Begum Rukhsana Mili. She is a professor of public administration, Islamic University, Kushtia, and she is also Dean Faculty of Social Sciences at the Kushtia University, Islamic University, Kushtia.
Thank you, dear Chair of the session. Dear audience, I think that this is one of the largest session of this conference, because here 7 articles are read out, and thanks to you, you have patience hearing to all the authors and us. I do not repeated the overall articles because I have time constraint. So the session name is Poverty, Inequality and Economic Governance. Governance factors are highlighted here overall on these articles. I think that all authors have truly and rightly presented their articles. They followed the required research methodologies and others research criteria which each research article has reached. Here we almost it is known by us that always research identify the problems. Any research has objective or target to identify the problems, research gaps, and then solve the problems, solution the problems, and propose the recommendations to solve problems. So the our session named Poverty, Inequality and Economic Governance. Governance, we know that some criteria are practiced here to be good in governance, almost in personal level and administrative level also. We know governance indicates certain criteria, that is accountability, transparency, free of corruption, rule of law, responsiveness, and others. Each article has focus on the governance practices, how governance criteria, that is accountability, transparency, or free from corruption, might be practices in our country. And for this reason, I think our today's conference, that is transition to democracy or democratization, each level should be democratized from the very perspective of individual level to administration. Individual should be quality personality. Then the governance criteria must be applied or must be incorporated in the various sectors to have fruitful solution or to have fruitful targets of the administration or governance. For example, quality personality approach. Stakeholder of each level should have patience, should have respectful views of others. That is the criteria of democracy. So we should have the proper conception and practice of democratic views and norms in all over personal level and administrative level. So I think that implementation of these articles' views is prime objective of this conference. So I should think that democratization or institutionalization of the democracy, that is institutionalization of the democracy, that means each person should practice the criteria or arbitrary qualities of democracy in each level, particular level. Then problem may be solved. We gain from this article. We gain from these researcher. Those are presented here. If we try to be democratized in our personal level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Begum Rukhsana Mili, for her short discussion. Just I will take 2 minutes time. The topic was very important today, and nicely, I mean, all presenters have nicely explored different aspects of governance. Governance focuses on performance, and democracy focuses on normative aspects of our life. So that's why it is a challenge for every country to combine governance and democracy. Because if we talk about the indicators of governance or good governance, World Bank, IMF, and UNDP all focuses on some performance-oriented indicators. So for example, how about the level of corruption, how about the level of the performance of the bureaucracy. So these are the issues that are covered in the governance, in good governance. On the other hand, democracy focuses on like the consent of the people, the condition of the elections. So 7 papers were presented here, and these papers indicated or explored different aspects, technology, human rights, and particularly the human rights of the tribe community, and online transaction, and you see the political instability and the migration of Bangladeshi students to other countries. So these are all important topics. So I'd like to thank all of you for your very good presentation, but try to give more time on these papers, so it is going to be publishable. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, distinguished professors, discussants, and the participants for this beautiful session. Ji, please, ছবি তুলুন, ছবি তুলুন। We will continue our session. As you can understand, we are far behind our schedule. We'll have lunch. Registered participant and guests will have lunch. They can collect the lunch from there, but we'll continue our session. You can go one by one according to your opportunities or your options. Now we'll have the session called Regional Politics, Geostrategic Competition, and the Global Order. This session will be chaired by Dr. Nasima Khatun, Chairman, Department of Political Science, University of Dhaka. Also we'll have discussant, 2 discussants. We'll have Professor MD Fakhrul Islam. He is a professor of public administration and also chairman of the department in Islamic University, Kushtia. We also will have Dr. Ihtishamul Haq. Is a senior lecturer in Daffodil International University. We are having photo session. If someone wants to come join us, you can join, or we'll after this photo session, we'll continue our session from here on. Thank you.
May I present our paper? Okay. Waiting for your permission. Okay, thank you.
So now we are going to start our next session. This session is titled Regional Politics, Geostrategy, Competition and the Global Order. So in this session we have our chair, discussant and co-chair. So the first, I would like to go to the paper titled Link, West Policy and the Indo-Pacific, India's Vision for a Connected Multipolar World. The paper will be presented by Dr. M.D. Ihtisham Khan. He is a professor, Magad University, Bodh Gaya, India. So I'd like to invite Dr. M.D. Ihtisham Khan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sir, as you have introduced me, I am Mohammad Ihtisham Khan, currently professor in the Department of Political Science, Magad University, Bodh Gaya, and currently member executive board RC44 of International Political Science Association. Thank you, Chair SM Ali Raza Sahab, Co-Chair Dr. Zaglul Haider Sahab, discussion Begum Rukhsana Ali Shabir and Samima Sahiba, and session coordinator Khalida Zaman Sahab. The topic of my paper is Link-West Policy and the Indo-Pacific, India's Vision for a Connected Multipolar World. India's Link-West Policy aims to strengthen engagement with West Asia and Gulf nations, GCC and non-GCC countries. Central Asia is increasingly considered part of India's broader Link-West strategic vision, though it is not formally the core focus like the Gulf and West Asia. Strategic importance due to energy security, trade, diaspora, and maritime routes. The Indo-Pacific has become a multipolar geopolitical space shaped by the US, China, Russia, India, and regional actors. Next. The objective of my paper is to analyze the role of India's Link-West policy in reinforcing a strategic autonomy in a multipolar Gulf, to assess how India's integrated Western and Eastern engagements advance its goal of maintaining a strategic autonomy and shaping a rule-based multipolar global order. Link-West policy, so far as we go, we see that there is no officially declared single launch date for the Link-West policy like Look-East policy of India. However, the first official reference to the Link-West policy was made by Dr. S. Jaishankar in March 2015, when he was Foreign Minister of India, Foreign Secretary of India. PM Modi converted the Look-West policy to Link and Act West, though his very first vision to the UAE, followed by Qatar and Saudi Arabia as well as Iran, August 2015 to June 2016. In the first 2 years, and to Israel in 2017 to celebrate the 25th anniversary of diplomatic relations. India's Link-West, set by Jaishankar's pragmatic realism, replaces ideological neutrality with empowered choice by cultivating multi-directional strategic autonomy as capacity, not constraint, maintaining independent decision-making while contributing to regional stability. Dr. Jaishankar redefined strategic autonomy as freedom through engagement rather than isolation. In a multipolar Gulf, where the US, China, Russia, and regional powers like Iran, UAE, and Saudi Arabia all compete, India's Link-West policy operationalizes autonomy by engaging all without aligning with any. Link-West policy shift from reactive to proactive diplomacy. There are 4 pillars of it: political outreach, economic and energy cooperation, defense and maritime collaboration, people-to-people linkages. So far as India's Indo-Pacific policy is concerned, free, open, inclusive Indo-Pacific, maritime security and freedom of navigation, SAGAR, and Kuwait and ISO is also there. India is a net security provider. Uh, and I am sure that Bangladesh will also be benefited. So, because the Bangladesh is the link between the East and the West, so my paper focuses on the link West at the same time Asia Pacific, and Bangladesh is in between the two regions of India. So we have a very close relationship. So my paper is mainly focuses the security of entire region through the Sagar and ISO. West Asia, energy routes and trade corridors, Indo-Pacific maritime connectivity. India is a strategic bridge between the regions. Strategic autonomy of India, issue-based partnership, balanced relations with major powers and regional powers, commitment to multilateralism, independent foreign policy decision-making, multipolar world order, promotion of South-South cooperation. Also, Bangladesh comes in our policy purview or domain. Support for rules-based order. India is a norm shaper. Regional conflicts and power rivalries को कम करना है. Key challenges हैं. So we have to face the challenges, and there is a reconciliation so far as our neighborhood first policy is concerned. Maritime security threats, energy transition, uncertainties. Policy recommendations. So far as my policy recommendation is concerned, the one is strategic and economic engagement, energy transition, green hydrogen, renewable and AI-enabled energy solution, connectivity, India, Middle East, Europe corridor for trade and logistics, defense industrial cooperation, joint development, tech transfer, naval exercises, diaspora diplomacy engaging 8 plus Indians in the Gulf, institutional and diplomatic mechanism, Indo-GCC dialogue, institutionalized high-level consultation, maritime and cyber security cooperation, port access, and cyber threat sharing, green technology partnership, renewable hydrogen, and sustainable infrastructure. Aligned with IMAE and Sagar, integrated connectivity and maritime strategy, multilateral coordination, 1, 2, U2, BRICS, NAM for stability and rules-based order. Now I should come to the conclusion. Link West is cornerstone of India's West Asia policy, builds stable rules-based cooperative multipolar Gulf. The vision is pursued through westward and eastward. Of course, the Link West is for the westward, and Bangladesh and ASEAN comes on the eastward. So India bridging West Asia and the Indo-Pacific region, promoting strategic connectivity from one end to another. So far as the India's policy is concerned, I have, in brief, I have time given 6 to 7 minutes. I presented my paper. Thanks to again to the organizer of the World Democracy Congress. Due to late issuance of the visa, we could not attend offline at Dhaka University, but you permitted through the virtual mode. Thank you very much. Thank you, organizer. Thank you, Mehboob Rahman sahab. My special thanks to Mehboob Rahman sahab, the convener of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad Ihtesham Khan. Thank you for joining with us, and you have rightly talked about Link West policy and the Indo-Pacific agenda. So now I would like to go to the next presentation. This presentation will be given by Hira Sarwar. She is Editor-in-Chief, World Affairs Insider, Islamabad, Pakistan. And she will talk about from stage to street, arts, language, literature as pillars of democratic resilience in South Asia. So, Hira Sarwar, Editor-in-Chief, World Affairs Insider, Islamabad. Please take your floor.
A very good afternoon. The topic of my presentation is from the stage to street, art, language, and literature as a pillar of democratic resilience in South Asia. So can I present my slide? Okay. So today my presentation is focused about for exploration of the how cultural expression function as a democratic infrastructure in South Asia, especially when formal institutions are under stress. I will focus during my slide art, language, and literature not as a soft power but also as a practical mechanism that sustains democratic life. So my first slide is about the why cultural expression matters. South Asia is home to 1.6 billion people, huge diversity and repeated democratic stress, military rule, censorship, regional religious extremism. In such contrast, culture creates a civic space when institutions fail. I propose 3M model for explaining how cultural, art, language, and literature support democratic resilience because these three expressions have amazing capacity for memorization, for preserving history, trauma, and resilience, mobilization, lower barriers for civic participation, and mediation for enabling dialogue without violence. So the conceptual framework of my presentation is about the democratic resilience referred to as system capacity to absorb shock, adapt, recover without losing democratic character. Cultural expression form public spaces for debating, accountability, and solidarity beyond the parliament and court. And art and languages as a civic infrastructure sustaining trust, participation, and ethical vocabularies for building shared narrative, creating ethical and inclusive identities, translating politics in accessible form, and enable street-level non-violence critics and promoting cross-border empathy and engaging youth. My first case study is about the Bangladesh. Bangladesh demonstrates the how linguistic rights can become a mass democratic project. The 1952 language movement transformed Bengali into the symbol of political rights and representation. Shahid Dibosh, 21 February, is observed to honor the martyrs who sacrificed to live their life for demanding Bengali as a state language. These struggles gained global recognition when UNESCO declared International Mother Language in 1999. Again, Bangladesh, when Bangladesh became under military regime, during military regime, former democratic channels are restricted. Only literature, theater, protest song, and poetry become a parallel civic space. Student culture group and street theater helped to mobilize resilience, contributing to democratic restitution in 1990. This shows that how culture outlasts dictatorial control. Now the case study about Pakistan. Pakistan illustrates how culture preserves democratic language when politics is constrained. During Ziaul Haq regime, poetry and performance are the safer challenge than the party politics. It was during their rule when Faizaban Faiz poem Hum Dekhenge, We Shall, written in 1979, become a powerful protest text. Verses such as जब अर्ज़े खुदा के काबे से सब उठवाए जाएंगे, हम अहले सफ़ा मरदूदे हरम मसनद पे बिठाए जाएंगे, सब ताज उठाए जाएंगे, सब तख्त गिराए जाएंगे, हम देखेंगे सिर्फ नाम रहेगा अल्लाह. I will translate for you that when from the Kaaba of Almighty Allah all good would be taken out, we religious one, the outcast of church, shall dome our religious robe. No doubt, all crown will fly, all throne will fall. We will see. Only the name of Allah will stay on, which is unseen and ever seen. We shall read. This poem constitutes a profound challenge to the regime for adopting religious extremism in Pakistan. After strict censorship, Hum Dekhenge circulated widely under the underground mushaira, student gatherings, and communities, and become an anthem of hope for the society. Our street theater, Ajoka, and Tariq Islam employ a street theater to challenge their regime. These performances address the issues of public issues of political rights, human rights, and religious extremism. Now I will talk about India. India shows as our largest multi-language state with 121 languages and 270 mother tongues. Dalit challenged caste pyramid and demanded dignity. Urdu literature and journalism is restricted and declined state support. Religion military movements reinforce federal democratic norm against cultural centralization. Now I will talk about the art and language in Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Afghanistan.
Here,
In Sri Lanka,
excuse me, can you please actually summarize? We are actually short of time.
just in 2 minutes, please. In Sahala, Tamil tension how language can mobilize and marginalize. In Nepal, over 120 languages faces serious threat. In Afghanistan, in contrast, in Afghanistan illustrate when culture systematically silenced. Under Taliban rule, we saw the destruction of artwork, ban of book, and closure of the women, inclusion of women. The 5 findings of my is the culture lower the entry cost, participation, why strong and memory is a political capacity, and public institution for the blocked institution and language life at the equal size. So there my last slide, and this is the my concluding slide. I will also recommend conclude this for some examples from our South Asia, that in Pakistan and India, protest art and street theater had confronted historical silence, and also public space like DHAKA Art Summit demonstrate how art and culture mass civic engagement, debating on identity, migration, and climate allies. So one of our living example of cross-border Runa Lela is one of the finest artists in the South Asia, is the living symbol of pre and post partition. And also I will quote from your University of Dhaka professor when he come to Pakistan, that on the cultural ground we can meet. So the conclusion of my presentation is the democratic resilience in South Asia, its ground constitution and election, from street theater in Pakistan and language movement to Bangladesh, and culture has transmitted to democratic value from stage to street. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hira Sarwar, for your insightful presentation. And you have rightly pointed out some sort of actually democratic journey, which is not actually limited within just constitution or election or something very formal. Sometimes it has been actually instrumented in graffiti, video content, or graphical other type of presentation. So thank you so much for your insightful presentation. So now I would like to invite another presentation. The presentation title is Reimagining India's Neighborhood First Policy, a Strategic Appraisal Through the Lens of BIMSTEC. This presentation will be given by Mr. Avinash Kumar Singh. He is the research scholar, Magd University, Bodh Gaya, India. So, Mr. Avinash Kumar Singh, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. I am research scholar of Department of Public Administration and currently teaching as assistant professor political science law at Navada Vidhi Mahavidyalaya, Navada. So my topic for today's presentation is reimagining India's neighborhood first policy through BIMSTEC. As we all know that BIMSTEC is no longer to be introduced in Bangladesh, University of Dhaka, or any aligning countries which are part of BIMSTEC. So talking about the wait a second, I think The core of India's regional diplomacy, the neighborhood's first policy, is the foundation of India's relation with nearby countries. Our focus is on our neighbors. We don't see aligning countries as a neighbor, but we see as brothers and sisters who are residing at the boundaries of our nation. So we always try to keep a relation with the countries which are sharing borders with us as aligning, in emphasizing they are brothers and sisters of ours. So we keep points like cooperation and security. The policy emphasizes mutual cooperations to ensure regional peace and shared security. Shift in geopolitical and power competition requires India to update this policy. So there are challenges also. Why it is necessary to reimagining? Why I say reimagining the neighborhood first policy? Because the current SARC policy has been seen as the weekend point. Political disagreement have reduced the SARC effectiveness as a regional forum. Then rising China's influence, China's growing economic and strategic presence challenges India's in the regional role. Security challenges like terrorism, maritime threat, and border tensions affect regional stability with our country also and the neighboring countries also. Need for multilateral platforms. India requires flexible regional grouping to address shared problems collectively. What is BIMSTEC? I think I should skip this slide because everyone is aware about BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC. To roughly show which countries are part of BIMSTEC: Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Thailand, and Myanmar. What is our first strategic interest? Maritime security. BIMSTEC helps in India's to protect sea routes and ensure safety in Bay of Bengal, to connect transport, trade, and people-to-people link between member countries. Energy cooperations. Regional leadership. Through BIMSTEC, India strengthened its role as a leading and stabilizing regional power. What was the objective of my study? To study how BIMSTEC support India's neighborhood first policy and to examine the challenges, opportunity of BIMSTEC for regional cooperation in Bay of Bengal. What I found the challenges were: slow implications. BIMSTEC project progress slow due to delay in coordination and execution. There is institutional weakness. Limited institutional capacity reduces BIMSTEC effectiveness. Economic difference. The stable condition of economic scenario is not equal in every country. So we always, with that economic difference, we have a problem in certain policies and in Bay of Bengal. There is external pressure. Influence of external powers affect unity and decision making in BIMSTEC. But we should see the both sides of the coin. So we have opportunities also, like leadership role of India. BIMSTEC allow India to lead regionally cooperation and agenda setting. Shared interest. We always see the common interest of the neighboring countries, the economic, security, and development goals that we should develop hand in hand. Economic growth. Regional cooperation through BIMSTEC can boost trade and investment. Regional stability. Strong BIMSTEC cooperation can promote peace, stability, and in the Bay of Bengal. So concluding to this research was like BIMSTEC complements neighborhood first policy. BIMSTEC provide a practical platform to implement India's neighborhood strategy, and the other aligning countries which are sharing boundaries with India should learn from this neighborhood first policy, that how in hand we can have an inclusive development at your place also and at our place also. And this is an alternative to SARC. Strategic importance of Bay of Bengal, where it is very crucial for India's economic and security interests to take part and move hand in hand. India is a stabilizing force. Through BIMSTEC, India can promote stability, cooperation, and development in the region. So it's not about only India or only Bangladesh. Every neighboring country can have an inclusive development, can have a peaceful atmosphere at their place, and this development, a democratic transition can take place. Once they adopt each other's transitional form, they can knowledge system, and hand in hand they can move ahead in a world development, I would say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Avinash Kumar Singh, for your insightful presentation. So now I'd like to invite another presenter. She is Khadija Jaman. She is data analyst, New Electoral Commission, Australia. She will present on democratic commitment and Electoral Integrity, a comparative analysis of Australia's electoral system and emerging democratic challenges in Bangladesh. Khadija Jaman, please take the floor.
Good afternoon. I'm Khadija Zaman, a data analyst at the Australian Electoral Commission. It's a great pleasure to share my insights on democratic commitment and electoral integrity, a comparative analysis of Australia's electoral system and emerging democratic challenges in Bangladesh. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge with deep respect the people of Bangladesh. I also wish to honor the countless individuals, past and present, who have contributed to Bangladesh's long and challenging journey of democracy. In this presentation, I will explore how Australia's strong democratic framework, particularly through its independent electoral commission, transparent procedures, and inclusive voting system, upholds the principles of fairness and accountability. I hope to highlight key lessons Bangladesh can take from Australia's electoral integrity model to strengthen its democratic institution and enhance public trust in the electoral process. As a Commonwealth nation, Australia is respected for its strong democracy and fair election. Australia is helping Bangladesh democracy by being the first partner of its ballot project, signed in Dhaka on 18 June 2025, through a contribution of AUD 2 million that aims to make stronger, transparent, inclusive, and credible national elections, and will assist Bangladesh Election Commission for enhancing institutional capacity, promoting voter education, increasing participation of women, youth, minorities, and people with disabilities. The project also prioritizes media freedom, journalist safety, and countering misinformation. Australia's support reflects on democratic governance and strong bilateral partnership with Bangladesh. In Australia, elections and referendums are managed by the Australian Electoral Commission. Voting is compulsory for all citizens. Everyone must enroll and vote. If someone does not want to vote, they have to pay a fine. Australia has two houses in Parliament. We all know that House of Representatives and the Senate. The lower house has 150 members and the upper house, called Senate, had 76 members. The elections helpers called scrutiners, and there was election for free and fair. There are also local government elections in councils across Australia using different voting systems. Freedom of speech and peaceful protest are important parts of Australian democracy. As a leading partner, Australia provides a strong model for fostering electoral integrity, inclusion, and public trust. Here are some key measures from Australia that can inspire reforms in Bangladesh electoral process. First and foremost important, the Independent Electoral Management Authority. The Australian Electoral Commission, AEC, is a non-partisan independent body that oversees all aspects of elections, from voter registration to vote counting and report resulting, free from government influence, and why it matters for Bangladesh. An autonomous election authority ensures neutrality and free from political interference. Universal voter registration. Compulsory enrollment and voting lead to high registration and turnout rates. Australia proactively ensures participation of persons with disabilities, senior citizens, indigenous communities, and overseas voters. It matters. Broad participation, especially youth and first-time voters, enhance legitimacy. A truly democratic election includes every eligible voter. Pre-poll and postal voting. People in Australia can vote early using pre-poll and postal voting. It matters. For Bangladesh, in Bangladesh, people usually vote only on election day. If Bangladesh starts pre-poll or postal vote, it can reduce long queue, and it will be really helpful for busy people. They can vote when it's convenient for them. But before starting this system, elections must be free, fair, credible, and well organized. Transparent and fair ballot design. Australia uses preferential voting system and in some cases option rotation to reduce bias. It matters. A neutral ballot design upholds fairness and accurately reflects voter choice. Secret ballot and electoral integrity. Australia enforces strict secret ballot procedures to protect voters from intimidation and coercion. It matters. Privacy and security are core to free and fair elections. Fair constituency, delimitation, and legal frameworks. Australia regularly reviews electoral boundaries to maintain one vote, one value principle. It matters for Bangladesh. Fair constituency design prevents overrepresentation and political manipulation. Voter and civic education. Australian Electoral Commission runs national campaigns explaining voting procedures, rights, and value of participation. It matters. Trained or educated voters can vote correctly and avoid invalid ballots. Collaboration with civil society and media outlets. Australia works closely with civil society groups and media outlets to monitor the election environment and promote accurate information. It matters for Bangladesh. Partnership with trusted institutions and stakeholders like these stakeholders increase oversight and reduce misinformation. Election dispute resolution. Australia has clear and fair rules to quickly solve election disputes and problems. It matters for Bangladesh. Solving complaints fairly and on time helps people to trust the election. At conclusion, I can say, by promoting transparency, accountability, and equal participation, Bangladesh can strengthen its democratic future and ensure a credible and trusted elections. And that truly help the people's voice. My presentation is a comparative discussion. So I'm just comparing Australian system. If we follow, that will be really helpful for Bangladesh elections. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening me. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khadija Jaman. So we are very happy to announce that our keynote speaker, Dr. Raunuk Jahan, she is present. So we are warmly welcoming her in our conference. So now I would like to invite our next presenter. Our next presenter is Tashkia Tabassum Prerona. She is a student of the University of Dhaka. She will talk about information flows under repression, tracing the gatherings, distribution, and calculation of protest information in Bangladesh July Revolution. Tashkia Tabassum Prerona, the floor is yours.
Thanks for giving me the floor. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tashkia Tabasu Prerona. I have recently graduated from the Department of Political Science, University of Dhaka. I'm currently doing my master's here. Today I will present my paper titled Information Flows Under Repression, Tracing the Gathering, Distribution, and Circulation of Protest Information in Bangladesh, July-August Revolution. So, my paper focuses on the July-August Revolution. It does not focus on the protest, actually, rather it focuses on how information actually moved during the protest. So, my main argument is very simple, which is information itself became a battlefield during the July Revolution. Let me start with a background. During the July 2024 revolution, Bangladesh government used three main tools: internet shutdowns, digital surveillance, content censorship. The most existing studies asked what happened politically, who protested, and what is the consequences of this protest. But my paper asked a different question, that is, how did information actually move? So, for example, when the mobile internet was shut down, students still managed to share protest calls. They shared each other about the police movement. How did they do so? This gap is what my research is focuses on. Based on this gap, I asked three main questions. How was protest information collected under repression? How was information verified during blackouts? And how was information packaged and routed to shape action? These questions help us understand protests not just as a political event, but as a result of some informational process. For theoretical framework, I use four well-known theories. I apply them in a very simple way. First, network social movements by Castle. This explains how protests grow through networks, not by leaders. And second, connective actions by Bennett and Segerberg. Here, people participate by sharing content, not by joining organizations. Third, the affective publics by Papacharisi. This shows how emotions like anger, grief, and hope connect people. And the last one, crisis informatics and gate watching. This explains how ordinary people like us check, filter, and spread information during crisis. This study focuses on qualitative methods. I combine digital ethnography, process tracing of information objects, semi-structured interviews, key protest movements of July-August Revolution. I followed how each piece of information started, got verified, moved across platforms, and finally led to action. So I have divided the finding part into three different sections. For the first part, I have named it sourcing and verification. Where the information actually came from. The most important sources were eyewitness photos and videos taken by students. When internet speed was low, the protesters recorded videos offline, and later they sent to their friends abroad using VPNs. These diaspora contacts then posted these videos on Twitter so that the international media could see them. And verification was extremely important. Sharing false information could cause panic, lead people in danger, and justify government's actions. So, cross-checking the same video on multiple platforms was the technique they used. It was very informal, but a very effective method. When rumors spread about attacks on religious sites, student pages, and diaspora networks quickly posted corrections. So, verification became a collective responsibility, not an individual task. And once the information was verified, packaging was important. And here, language mattered. Bangla was used for local coordination, and English was used for global visibility. Visuals were also very important, like posters and infographics explained demands. TikTok videos showed emotion and violence. YouTube preserved long protest footage, and emotion was not accidental, it was strategic. Grief, anger, and hope helped information spread faster and stay memorable. And the third part, but very important part of my finding is routing and uptake. Routing means how information actually traveled. Information usually moved like this, first in private Telegram or WhatsApp groups, and then to public platforms like Facebook or TikTok, and then diaspora networks abroad. The same message was shared many times in many ways. For example, a Telegram warning became a TikTok clip, and that clip became a Twitter thread, and that thread reached international media. Offline routing also matters. Leaflets, banners, graffiti, face-to-face sharing, megaphones. This created a hybrid system, both digital and physical. And this leads to my main insight, which is information was not just content, it was infrastructure. My paper makes three main contributions: conceptual, empirical, and practical. In conceptual part, it shows that information should be studied as infrastructure, not just messages. And in empirical part, it shows it adds a global south case under severe shutdown conditions. And in practical part, it shows that limits of internet shutdowns as a control tool. They disrupt communication, but they do not stop movements. To conclude, I'd like to say that July Revolution was not only a political struggle, but also an informational struggle. When the state tried to control networks, citizens built their own systems. They mixed digital tools, human trust, immersion, and creativity. So my final message is very simple, which is when state controls networks, citizens build infrastructures. Maybe in July-August Revolution, it was through the information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tashketa Bachum Perona. So now I'd like to invite our next presenter, Tanzina Akhtar, and she has also co-author Shamim Hussain and also Muhammad Bahauddin. So Tanzina Akhtar will present. She will present on the paper titled "Good Governance in Transition of Bangladesh: Youth Demands and the Role of Civil Society." So Tanzina Akhtar, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, sir. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, respectable moderator and discussants and audience. Welcome to our presentation, which is on good governance in transition of Bangladesh, youth demands and the role of civil service. So I think after the previous presentation, I need not to explain much about the background and the context of present Bangladeshi situation. But in our context, this is the thing that there is a gap between institutional capacity and citizens' trust. What the youth is expecting from the government organization, maybe the government organization cannot fulfill that, though it has the resilience. We have the set rules, legitimacy, but maybe we cannot fulfill the trust of the youth. So we are going to explore about that thing throughout our research. So here the objective is to measure, one second please, to measure the existing governance performance through secondary data, to explore youth performance, perceptions and priorities during the transition period, and to analyze civil service preparedness and institutional intent for future reforms. To judge the governance performance, we have taken one indicator, Good Governance Index of Chandler, where we get 7 pillars mainly. Those are leadership and foresight, robust laws and policies, strong institutions, financial stewardship, attractive marketplace, global influence, and helping people rise. In all of the pillars, we try to get information or the perception from youth and civil servant both. So to collect the data, we maintain 2 types of research, obviously. One is for quantitative research, for content analysis, and for primary data, we run the survey from youth and the civil servants. So for youth survey, we get 80 respondents, and for civil servant survey, we get 50 respondents. And the sampling size is normally non-probability and convenience sampling, like we shared the survey forms, and who just shared their responses, we need to take that. And for your kind information, still we are running the survey, and we think that before publishing this paper, we can collect more data. And for collecting data in survey form, there was 5-point Likert scale. We try to know the perception of both parties. This is the source of Chandler Good Governance Index. So this is the presentation firstly of secondary data. Here we can see that the Bangladesh performance, and in global influence and reputation, we have the least mark here, and within 120 countries, Bangladesh rank is 95. But we have the good news for financial stewardship. We get the high marks here. And in each pillars, there are so many indicators, and focusing on each indicators, mainly we develop our statement to run the survey. Here we can share the example of helping people rise because we get here a high rank. This is about satisfaction with public services. We get 10th rank. In financial stewardship, there we stood first in spending efficiently. That means we can spend our budget efficiently. And in the low mark, we can share that like innovation, here we stand in 117 in 120 countries. So in these areas, we are not getting good marks. To explain this more, I think we don't have enough time. Just let me share the summary. In leadership and foresightness, this is weak ethical leadership, and we have diluted during implementation of strategic priorities, stronger long-term planning framework we have, but there is a persistent gap. And in terms of strong institutions like moderate coordination and bureaucratic capacity, implementation remains uneven and politicization and administrative rigidity persists. For your kind information, we didn't collect the information not only from the Chandler Good Governance Index. To get the support for those indicators, we get data from different articles, newspaper reports, reports from Transparency International, World Bank Group, and ILO. And to check some index, we get Rule of Law Index 2024 and Country Risk Profile. So let me share about the financial stewardship again, because we have the strong fiscal discipline and spending efficiency, moderate debt sustainability, and service quality and equity concerns remain. In attractive marketplace, we are doing very bad here actually, because we have weak investment, attraction, and property rights, inconsistent regulations, and bureaucratic complexity. Governance risk limit private sector development. Where we are doing good, that is helping people rise. There are some kind of strengths for us like health and basic education outcomes and personal safety indicators. But there are again gaps remain in youth employment, gender equity, environmental governance, and public service satisfaction. Though we are getting good marks in public service satisfactions, but in the explanation, we found that there are some gaps as well. And this is the presentation of primary data. We take data maintaining the gender, age group, service types, job experiences. So from different corners, we get the data. Let me show the find out of the data. Like for pillar 1, when we are asking that senior leadership provides ethical direction to the civil servants and youth, we get totally separate feedback. Youths are always thinking that, no, these are not enough. Like here the percent is showing for the, we are strongly supporting or strongly agree. So when it is for civil servants, 71% civil servants strongly agree that senior leadership provides ethical direction. But for youth, they only 29% thinking that senior leadership provides ethical direction. And for institutional response effectively to crisis, 71% civil service support this statement, but only 29% youth support this. My slide is not changing. Oh, okay. And for pillar 2, robust laws and politics, laws are applied equally to all citizens, civil servants supporting the statement, but youth is only 16%. Administrative process, protect citizens' rights, civil servants is supporting, and youth are not. Courts deliver justice without undue influence, again, civil service is supporting, youth are not. Civil service works with professionalism and neutrality, same thing. Government agencies coordinate effectively, same kind of reply. Recruitment systems are merit-based. Here, youth are supporting more, like 27% is supporting that, and civil service, 73%. Maybe it could be 100%, but when we have 5-point Likert scale, there is strongly agree, neutral. So 73% is strongly agree with that statement. Government manages national debt responsibly, 39% youth and 61% civil service. Public resources used efficiently with minimal waste, same. Investment and business climate, here we get a little more support from the youth, that is 32%. Bangladesh international diplomatic effectiveness, another a little more from the youth, 33%. And public service delivery efficiently, transparently, fairly,
26% youth support that. Education, healthcare accessible and affordable, though we get good marks here and good governance index, but in the survey we get that 36% youth support that, and civil service 64%. And lastly, the discussion shows that Bangladesh exhibits administrative resilience, what we can find from the civil servant survey. Governance legitimacy remain contested. Youth perception highlight outcome-based evaluation. We cannot see real outcome from our rules, regulations, etc. Transitional period intensify trust deficits. So what can we do for policy implications? Ethical leadership must be visibly accountable. Youth inclusion is central to legitimacy. Rule enforcement matters more than rule design. Though we have strong legal boundaries, but those are not implemented. We cannot see the strong implementation. Service quality must accompany fiscal discipline. Transition-sensitive governance reforms are essential. And lastly, strengthening ethical oversight and transparency, institutionalize youth participation, enhance judicial credibility, align budgeting with service outcomes, protect accountability institutions can be the best solution. Lastly, transitional governance depends on both institutional capacity and public perception. Bangladesh shows capability but lacks sufficient legitimacy, with youth trust highlighting this gap. Sustainable governance requires bridging this trust deficit to ensure inclusive and credible institutions. That's all from my side. Thanks for your patience hearing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tanzina Akhtar, for you such insightful presentation. With this presentation, we are going to have our all the 6 paper presentation. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to the Professor M.D. Fakhrul Islam to further proceed the discussion session. Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. At first, I congratulate all of the participants who present their paper nicely. In this session, there are 6 papers have been presented. At first, Dr. Mr. Ehtasam Khan present his paper on link West policy and Indo-Pacific and India's vision for connected multipolar world. Then Hira Sarwar present his paper on From Stage to Street, Art, Language and Literature as Pillar to Democratic Resilience in South Asia. Most paper has been significant in this context. Bangladesh is now passing a difficult time. I think that we want to establish a democratic country. We want to ensure democratic value in every sector in Bangladesh. This first article have been shown that the writer explain or emphasizes connectivity or connection multipolar system in this subcontinent. But I think that India is our neighbor country as well as big democratic country in the world. I think that India love democracy in their country, but they merely expect that democracy will be established other country. They merely respect. I think that last 15 years, what play their role in our country? I think that last 3 elections, only India and few countries supported that election. Most of the world deny those elections, but India supported that country. I think that how Hasina be fascist, I think that only few countries support her activities. So I think that their mentality should be changed if they want to establish connected multipolar world system. Their foreign policy should be changed. I think that second paper was presented by Hira Sarwar. She emphasizes art and language. I think that in 1952, language movement was our great movement. It helps to establish, it helps to create nationalism. So cultural revolution creates a nation that proved was 1952. I think that Khadija Jaman was presented his paper, Democratic Commitment and Electoral Integrity. It was a nice paper, I think so, and it is a comparative study between Australia and Bangladesh. We can learn from the Australia how to develop their democracy. I think that their leadership, their political party system absolutely follow. Their political party system played a great role in democratization process in Australia. But our political party, what their role? I think that our political party could not play a great role in democratization process in Bangladesh. Leadership crisis is also seen in our political system. Our leader always think about themselves or their party. They merely think their country. I think that Australia, on the other hand, Australian political party or democracy has been institutionalized on the based on democratic values. So political party and political party or other political institution may play a great role to establishing in democratization process in Bangladesh. I do not prolong my speech because it is not time to speak more. So I again thanks all of the paper presenter and who are participate here. I again thanks for the audience for hear my speech with patience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All participants, session is 6 participants are valuable discussion and Fakhrul Islam, very valuable and comments and very good discussion. All distinguished guests, students, very much thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, distinguished guest, discussant, and dear authors and participants. It's our pleasure to continue this session without any break. So you are giving your more than 100%, I would say, for this conference. We are pleased for that. We have utmost gratitude for that one. And I would like to thank our discussant and the chair and moderators as well. This is the end of this session, Regional Politics, Geostrategic Competition, and the Global Order. Now, as you have already seen, that we have our next session would be a featured session, and that would be we have our conference guest or conference speaker in front of us. Maybe she's just outside. Now we will have this remarkable session led by the Professor Ronak Jahan. She is Distinguished Fellow, Center for Policy Dialogue, and retired Professor of Department of Political Science, University of Dhaka. Her topic is the role of political parties in democratic transition in consolidation. Professor Ronak Jahan was a senior research scholar and adjunct professor of international affairs at the School of International and Public Affairs at Columbia University, USA. She was a professor of political science at the University of Dhaka and headed the Women program at the UN Asia Pacific Development Center, Kuala Lumpur, and the International Labour Office, Geneva. She was a research fellow at Harvard, Chicago, and Boston universities in USA, and T.S.R. Michelsen Institute in Norway. She was in the Rajani Kothari Chair of Democracy at the Center for the Study of Developing Society, CSDS, Delhi, India. Professor Jahan received her PhD in political science from Harvard University. She is the author of several internationally acclaimed books and numerous articles. Most of her research is focused on issues of politics, governance, gender, development, and health. Professor Jahan will speak at a special session of the World Democracy Congress on the role of political parties in democratic transition and consolidation. Please wait with your utmost patience until our guest arrives. Until then, thank you.